Everybody, catastrophe has struck. A cultural institution of the Midwest has fallen. Something that was a beacon of light in all of our darkest days. Something that motivated you to be a better person in every single one of your days. Just a reminder that even though we may look different, we may sound different, we are all the same when it comes to fast food restaurants. I bid you with tragic news. I bid you with tragedy. The Culver's barn has been destroyed. And I know, this may come to a shock to you. I think it's the most catastrophic building collapse in the last, I don't know, 3 decades, where a barn that was, representing everyone's favorite fast food restaurant, Culver's, was put up. It was erected in 2013 to symbolize, unity, symbolize hope, symbolize just everyone's hopes and dreams. But the catastrophic storms that came in last night, the catastrophic winds that came in last night, has in fact blown over the barn and made it so that it no longer stands as a beacon of hope in everyone's community, in the Midwestern community. And so I thought, let's play a little bit of the news report to give a full sense of the tragedy that happened last night.
Down today during the severe weather. The owner, Michael Zimmerman, says the barn became part of Culver's Thank You Farmers project back in 2012. He says the structure had already been damaged during an April tornado. And with today's strong winds, reports of gusts around 85 miles per hour took down what was left.
It's pretty bad. Culver's has been very good to me. Culver's, whenever I tell them where the Culver's barn is, everybody knows where I'm at and who I am. And it's just awesome. It's been awesome at Culver's, and I hope that we can get back on the same place that we were.
Zimmerman wasn't there when it happened, but neighbors alerted him. Everyone is okay. The barn is insured, and he hopes they can rebuild.
Now, this is probably the only time in my entire life that I'm going to say these words, that I feel bad for a Packers fan. Now, obviously, me as a diehard Chicago Bears fan, I've hoped for nothing but suffering for Green Bay Packers fans. But to see just such a lovely display of just human beauty and human progress displayed on this man's property, him being so gracious to allow Culver's to create their own Culver's barn using his own barn. You gotta feel for the man. You gotta feel bad for him for just his lovely work of art that had been standing on his property for such a long time went down due to the harsh weather that the Midwest has been suffering over for so long. And for once again, it was kind of mentioned in that news report, but this is supposed to be a thank yous farmers thing where they're just showing appreciation for their farmers. In the Midwest, shocking, we have a lot of flat land and therefore we have a lot of farmland. It's basically just corn land, unless there's just the one city per state that we all have, and that's kind of just how it goes. Where we need to understand, and we understand that farmers are the foundation of our community, and therefore we thank them with the one thing we could, which is a thank you farmers Culver's barn. And I know what you're wondering, how are other members of the community taking this catastrophic news? How are people reacting to just the tragedy that has happened in the past day and just the fallout of what has happened? And I'm going to tell you, they're not taking it well. They're not taking it well in any capacity. And we might need to hold out a vigil for the Culver's barn when, all these terrible storms are said and done, because it might get worse for the Culver's barn, because it is supposed to have worse weather tonight. And it just might be a catastrophe for Culver's barn. But let's just show some videos of the Culver's barn being mourned as it has once again so tragically fallen. I mean, just tears in my eyes right there, seeing a beloved statue, a beloved structure, my people, the Midwestern people, being mourned in such a tragic way, cut down in his prime. And it's just a tragedy that I didn't have the time, I didn't have the foresight to visit such a monumental site before it fell. And as you can see in the comments, people are also mourning it. People are saying it's like the destruction of the Library of Alexandria. They're calling it a landmark. They're starting a GoFundMe for the rebuild of the Culver's barn. It was like the Midwestern Statue of Liberty. People will never forget it. People will never forget the Culver's barn. And I do have one more video mourning the Culver's barn, where you can see, just with the song, it's one of these scrolling videos. Absolutely tragic. Absolutely tragic. We even got a Quick Trip, another institution of the Midwest, mourning the loss of the beloved Culver's Barn. Absolutely tragic. And I don't know if we can ever get past it. You know, I like to have fun on this channel. I like to bring good news at all times, but I couldn't skirt around reporting on the most catastrophic building collapse, I think, in US history, if I do say so myself. It is tragic. It is unbelievably sad that we had to see just a beloved, benevolent, harmless building get destroyed by the evil winds of the Midwest. And we will rebuild. You know, we will never forget. We will come together. This may bring us closer together as a community. We may start building bridges back that have been burned for so long. As you can once again see by me for the only time in my entire life saying something good about a Packers fan. That might just be what even brings us an inch closer together, is the destruction of a beloved thing. And so I think as it should go, you know, usually you pour one out for the people, you burn their ashes and spread them off the mountains. I think everyone who is of able body and sound mind should go out and go to Culver's, and not to mourn the loss of the Culver's barn, but to celebrate its life and celebrate the memories that it imparted on us before it so tragically collapsed. That's what I wanted to talk about today. Sorry to ruin your entire vibe. Sorry to probably ruin your entire month. Hopefully we can get past this together. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.